Now that we've skim coated our armature, we're going to start developing our center line. Make sure before you get started that your base plate is firmly fixed to the working table. You can use double stick tape or a clamp. Practice holding these edges flush and sliding back and forth with your template to make sure you're not hitting the clay anywhere. If you are hitting the clay anywhere, like for example right there, get your rake and clean it out of the way so it glides smoothly. We're basically going to make a 1-inch pad through center line from X3 all the way to X17. Be sure and keep your template vertical and pay attention to your Y lines through here, and as you drag it, both arms should be moving at the same speed. You don't want the template twisting like this or twisting like that, because that changes the whole surface and you'll be going over and over and over it constantly. So always make sure you're parallel. Here we go. We're going to pack very thin coats of very hot clay right across here. I'm not worried about all the edges now like I was before. You notice the clay's sticking better to the clay than it did to the foam. There's a thin layer like this. Okay, I'm going to take my template and I'm going to pull it through. Okay, I'm not even touching, right? So I'm going to grab more clay. Now that you've got a hot bed of clay down, you could pack the clay in a way that is not so tight. Okay, it's starting to touch, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up like this with my right hand holding up this. I'm going to hold it at center line and pull it through. Okay? See that? That's right there. Always take a second trip around the block because you never know. The template might have moved. Take your hot clay. Make sure when packing and when you're dragging that you pack in the direction that you're pulling or pushing your template. Again, I'm lining up the outside edge. I'm holding the center of my template and I'm pulling through. Okay, that's plenty good right there. And I'm just going to keep on going. I'm going to do maybe 1 inch or a 1/2 inch at a time as far as the dragging. I'm not going to overpack it. I'll come back through here, hit that, a little bit of hot clay, pull it through, just like that. We would use foam core in a professional studio when doing this. It's too time consuming to make a wood template because the pad that I'm making through center line is just the start. Even though I'm creating this surface through here, it's all going to change. As we start modeling it, it'll go down maybe a 1/16 of an inch here, or it might come up an 1/8 of an inch on the hood. If by the time we develop our hood and it's kind of flat, because the engineering drawing is just basically the perception of the designer. If you remember, I started right here, right, with the hot clay. Well, now that clay is cool, so it shrank. So as I come over it over here, most likely you're going to notice that my new area is above this area. Don't worry about it. This clay will shrink also. It'll shrink just a little. Plus, we'll use our slicks and blend those heights together. See, my clay is already starting to get cold. There we go. There we go. See, I got a little bit right through here. A little Band-Aid coat, just like that. And let's knock it off. See, the clay's getting a little bit cold, so it didn't stick down real good there. So I need to get hotter clay to make it lay down. When the clay gets cold, it'll start peeling back. So let me get some hotter clay. Okay, we got some hot clay. And something I wanted to remind you is this clay is 100% recyclable. Your scraps, just pick them up off the table, put them right back in your clay oven. See, that did much better right there that time. And we come through here, clean up our template, because the cold clay on the template will cause it to chunk. Just like that. I'm going to continue right through, all the way to X3. Okay, so now what we're going to do, I'm going to come back this way a little bit, and then I'm going to explain what your next step is. Holding my template and dragging it at the same pace. See how it's stuck right there? So I want to make sure that I line it up and pull through. Okay, now what you're going to do is you're going to continue doing exactly as I have done, packing in the direction that you're pulling or pushing. Some people like to push a template, I like to pull. But you're going to pack in that direction. If you were to pack this way, the template would just rock and you'd rip off all the clay. So don't do that. Now your edges here, just push them down. Just push them down. Get rid of any air bubbles in there. That will eliminate cracks in the future. After you've dragged from X2.5 or 3, let's say X2.5 to X17, which is back here on the deck lid, you're going to take your template and at X17, you're going to cut it straight up, just completely off. And at X3, you're going to cut it straight up and off. Okay, so now what I've done is I've went ahead and cut my template, okay? So at the furthest point in your template, which equals the same plan view line here, which is the furthest point on our plan view drawing, draw a line vertically. What we're going to do is we're going to hold that line on this line, like this, as we pull it through. So as you do it, kind of got to move with the line and come around, just like that. You really don't have to drag any more than 2.5, because this area through here is really where the bumper starts coming around into the wheel flare. Okay, now I'll demonstrate pulling this template through the front. I'm going to pack on some clay here. I'm going to hold the model down because as I pack, another way of packing is if you hold the clay like this and you pull it towards you, it'll slowly go on. So we're going to load this up because we noticed with that template we had a long way to go. Sometimes you're forced into packing with your fingertips, especially around the front end on these kinds of surfaces. It's just easier to pinch it. And now that I got a nice warm layer of clay, I can take the warm clay, push it down like this, and feather in those. Now what I'm going to do though, before I get too much, so I'm going to take my template, line it up, and I'm going to pull it through. So I'm still not touching anywhere. A little bit at the bottom. I'm going to continue this band through here, right through about the center peak of the template. I'm going to create a band. And then once that cools down, that'll be a nice band that the template could write against, because the plan view will already have been established. So 1 second here. So now I'm getting close, starting to shave. I'm a little bit outboard my mark, but that's okay. I'm going to come back through it. Okay, so now as you can see, I have a pad right through here and touching the template right through here. So now I'm gonna get hot clay because this clay is cool. I'm gonna put this clay back in the oven because I don't want to waste it. Do try to keep foam and other dirt out of the clay, because when you have to get in there and then later on when you're cleaning up the model, it'll work like like a meteor, and it'll just drag a big chunk, and then you got to spend more time cleaning it up. So keep the dirt out of the clay, but do recycle the clay. Okay, you can see right here is where the clay has been being dragged off the front end. So right now we have a nice plan view right through here, following that line, holding this line up with that line. What you're gonna do for the rear is you're gonna take your template here that I've cut. I also have this line down at this furthest point. I also have the plan view line coming around the rear. You're gonna hold up that line on the rear and pull it around here through here. Do the same thing like I did up here. Pack around, remember to pack in the direction that you're pulling. Don't pack vertically on the rear or the front, or even on the body side. Make sure you pack sideways because you're pulling sideways. And then hold that arrow, create a pad right through here, all the way through there. And then once that cools down, that'll give you a nice pad to drag against, and then take the hot clay and continue packing these upper sections all the way up into the deck lid. Because before you get to this stage, you will already have this established through here. Our body side template is for X10. It goes just like this. You're gonna pack the clay in this direction, just like we did, and you're gonna make a pad, dragging this template, holding it firm, making sure the ground is firm, and pulling it through, just like that. Do sections 9 through 11. And then work your way down, work your way up. You're gonna come just over the corner, just about this much, right through here, because our center line is already here, and then later we'll pack the clay and fill the surface in between. We've dragged in our center line, our front bumper, our rear bumper, and our body side section. Now what we need to do is knife on right through center line, right onto the clay. We're gonna use the clay as a canvas, and we're just gonna knife right onto it using our knife. To do this, you're gonna take your foam block, your 3.5 inch foam block, and you're gonna hold it vertically, and you're gonna line up with your ruler in that edge with center line, okay? You're gonna take it and you're gonna put a little tick mark right there. Tick mark up top on the hood. There. Another one, holding it flush with our angle there. Right there. And we're gonna do the same thing back here. So now we place some tick marks on our center line. We take our slick, line up our tick marks, and with your clay knife, draw right onto the clay like that. Do it all the way through center line, lining up your block at center line in the rear, knife through the rear. You're gonna knife straight up through here and right at X10. Holding your block like this vertically and lining up with your ruler to X10, and then knifing on your line.